Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and this video is a big video.
Oh yeah,
it is a very
really
big
big
video. Our official predictions for division winners for this upcoming season.
Woo!
All 8 divisions, we are picking them right now.
That's a frog.
Get hype! This is one of my favorite videos. Let's do it. NFC North predictions. Tyler, who do you have winning the NFC North?
We're starting with the NFC North. I'm not wearing a shirt right now, but you might say this is biased. I actually don't think it's biased. I think this is what I would think, regardless of if I was a Bears fan or not. But I'm saying the Bears in the NFC North. They did it last year. I think they're going to be able to do it again. It's going to be a tough division, but I do think the Bears' defense will be the Bears' offense will improve, and the Bears' defense will be hopefully just around the same, and it'll lead to the same circumstance, I guess, with the Bears winning the division.
All right, so I disagree. I am going with the Minnesota Vikings to win the NFC North. They're probably going to really be annoyed by this, and they're probably going to bully me about it for a while. But you know what? That's okay, because I am going to justify it. The Vikings are just, remember what they were just a few years ago. They were 13-3. Okay, I think they can see it. Stop. They were 13-3. They were in the NFC title game, the Minnesota Miracle. That was just 2 seasons ago. And I really think the key is the Vikings have
With a different quarterback.
two really good receivers, in my opinion, Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. They're both different types of receivers, but they're both good at what they do. Then you got the running back. Dalvin Cook being healthy is a huge plus. And really the big thing, Kirk Cousins just has to perform, but you know what? I think he will. I think he's got a good supporting cast. Kyle Rudolph staying is huge for their offense. Getting Garrett Bradbury and a couple other offensive linemen to help Kirk Cousins was an absolute must. The Vikings needed to get an offensive line improvement to help Kirk Cousins, and they did just that. So that's a big reason why they're winning this division. And that defense is really good. You got Daniil Hunter, Harrison Smith, Xavier Rhodes.
Is it as good as the Bears defense?
What? It's not as good, but it is close, and closer than you may think. So yeah, I think the Vikings defense is going to make some big strides, and Kirk Cousins is going to play better than last year, allowing Minnesota to surprise some people like these two and win the NFC North.
See about that. Win the NFC North. So, I'm going to go with the obvious one for me, and that is my Chicago Bears. So the reason I think this is, it's not tough reasoning here, but I believe this is the Bears' year to be great. I think if they're going to win, it's either have to be this year or next year. But obviously with the development of Mitchell Trubisky, it's going to be fun to watch this year. They got a new running back in David Montgomery in the draft. Have a lot of the same wide receivers. The defense hasn't changed too much. Everything that they got rid of, they just replaced. So the team looks very similar to last year. And of course, we all know that we are just one post away from posting the crossbar, you could say, from going into the next game, obviously against the Eagles, but it didn't happen. Still a little salty, but I think the Bears are going to be able to take it, and that's my prediction for the NFC North.
All right, so one quick thing before we segue.
Yeah.
You guys are both very confident in your Chicago Bears, so I'm going to ask you, who do you guys think is the biggest threat to the Bears in the NFC North?
I think it's the Packers. Yeah, I could agree with him. I think the Packers are just always the team that is frustrating to the Bears.
All right, so
I'm not someone who's scared of the Vikings. I say, Vikings, bring it on. I'm ready for you, Kirk and friends and Dalvin and
We beat you twice last year.
and Adam and friends and.
I think they're going to surprise you guys this year. Watch out for them. Don't
I don't think they're going to be a bad team or just something.
Well, we'll see. So some
They're gonna be
controversy early. I like it.
Oh, I love it.
All right,
it's great.
now we are going to the NFC East division. This is an interesting one. This always seems to be a division that's very hard to predict. It always flip-flops. They haven't had back-to-back winners in a while, I believe. So a very hard division to predict. So Tyler, who do you got?
Well, Jordan was talking about this team earlier playing the Bears in the playoffs. I'm saying they make it to the playoffs again, and yes, Ryan is zooming in on them. I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles to win this division, and the first thing you think of when you're thinking about the Philadelphia Eagles is, wait, Carson Wentz got injured again. He came back last year and didn't seem to do very much. I think this time it's going to be different. Carson Wentz is going to be able to lead the team without the distraction of Nick Foles being on the team anymore. Carson Wentz is going to start to return back to where he was in his MVP year in 2017. I think it was 2017. So I do think he's going to be able to bring the team. They also got a couple of good players on defense. They added Michael Bennett, which is one of the main things they did. And on offense, they made great trades in the offseason. So they had a pretty good team last year, and they just continued to add on to their team. I think the Eagles win this division. It's going to be close. Like Ryan said, this division is always difficult to predict. But for me, the winner is the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, we have got more controversy because I disagree again. This is a bit of a surprise, but I'm going with the Washington Redskins to win the NFC East. In case you haven't heard, I'm very high on Dwayne Haskins. I think I've probably talked about him in like almost every other video. I love his arm strength. He's actually the best quarterback in the draft. And yes, Kyler Murray is not the best quarterback in this past draft, but
He is.
no, he's not. But anywho, it's not just Dwayne Haskins. You know, I think he got drafted into a great situation where he'll get a chance to play early. You know, I like that. I think they'll have a very good backfield once they're healthy. Their offensive line is solid. The receiving corp's not great, but I think Dwayne Haskins' arm talent will be enough to make that offense run fluently. And then on the defensive side, you got, Landon Collins, the big addition. And then Montez Sweat was a pick I really liked. Trading back into the late rounds to get him was a very good pick for them. So, you know, I just think they're the best team in this division. That's very hard to predict, as we talked about. And just looking at some of these other teams, the Giants are not ready to contend. Dallas will put up a fight. And Philadelphia, I think, was a one-season wonder. I haven't bought into Carson Wentz yet. He needs to put together a full MVP caliber season for me to buy into him. So give me the Redskins to surprise a lot of people and win the NFC East.
Right. Well, I'm going to start off by saying sorry to the New York Giants because none of us have picked you.
No.
But I'm going to pick the Cowboys.
Ooh, we all disagree. I like it.
Yes. So the reason I think the Cowboys are going to win, I think that the Cowboys are ready to win. And, of course, there's always a running joke about how Cowboys fans say every year is their year. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I think they are going to win the division. The combination of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, it's always just been good. That offensive line has always been very solid. So I feel like they're going to put it together and win some games. Of course, I think that the Cowboys are the team that sometimes will lose some games as well when they could win games. But I think the Cowboys are going to put it together and win the division this year. And I think they're just going to have a good team. Their defense got a lot better last year, so they got to carry into this year. And everyone knows Dak Prescott needs to play well, so I think he's going to live up to that and play well. Ezekiel Elliott, possibly the best running back in the league. So I got to give it to the Cowboys there.
Watch the Giants win the NFC East now. We all picked every team. He's got Dallas, I got Washington, he's got Philadelphia. Maybe the Giants will just prove us all wrong. Who knows?
Giants. If the Giants do that, I'd be very happy for them. I like the Giants. I do.
But very
I don't think
unpredictable
they're
division.
very good, but
Who knows? So 3 different teams here. That's interesting.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that is fun. I like controversy, especially when it comes to predictions.
It makes me giggle.
Whatever floats your boat, Jordan. All right, we're going down south, NFC South.
Unfortunately, for viewing purposes, I think there's going to be less controversy in this division.
Yeah.
But I could be proven wrong here, but I'm going to go with what I think is the most likely pick, obviously, to happen, which most people would say. Yes, Ryan, you can zoom in on that one right there. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. Why am I going with the New Orleans Saints? There's many reasons. I know they lost Mark Ingram in the offseason. They still have Drew Brees. It's Drew Brees. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. One of them. I'm not saying he is the best quarterback of all time. Defense is still solid. They got a bunch of great foundational players on that defense. Alvin Kamara is still there. Alvin Kamara. I'm just making sure that I pronounce it right because it really triggers me when people say it wrong. It's not Kamara. It's Kamara. Kamara. Thank you. I just had to clarify that while we were talking about the Saints. So, I think the Saints will take a step back from their record last year, but they will still be able to win this division.
All right. It's just funny how you got to have the pronunciations, like you when you put it in parentheses, Kamara. You're big. Got to get it right, guy. I like it. So, I am going with, guess what? Same as you, Tyler. I am going with the New Orleans Saints as well. And I'm really just going to keep this simple here, all right? I'm just going to say 3 things. Drew Brees is a top 5 quarterback. Alvin Kamara is a top 5 running back. And Michael Thomas is a top 5 wide receiver. I'm done. Jordan, what's your pick?
Well, you just keep it right there because I'm going to go with the Saints as well. The Saints have always been either my second or third favorite team behind the Bears. I just feel like the Saints and Drew Brees is one of my favorite, if not my favorite players in the NFL. I just love Drew Brees, and he's a great player. You guys covered a lot of it. Alvin Kamara. The defense is getting a little better. They didn't have a first-round draft pick this year, but I think they're going to be a team that's always contending. And I hear whispering over here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm trying to.
We're game planning. We're game planning.
Okay.
You can talk. We're listening.
Well, I can't really concentrate, but anyways, everything they said, I think they're going to be a good team in a division that might be a little struggling. But I'm actually pretty high on the Falcons, so Falcons fans, I'm high on you guys.
All right, that was the NFC South. All right, you can flip to the next division here.
NFC West.
Before we start with the NFC West, we said earlier that we were going to do the NFC and the AFC. This video has been longer than expected, so we're going to do 2 separate videos, one for the NFC and one for the AFC. So anyways,
Yes, looks like you guys read my mind because I literally typed out my screen.
No
I
way.
wasn't going to whisper it to you guys because that'd be
wait,
distracting.
you were
but-
typing? I didn't even know that's what you typed out on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to whisper while someone else is talking because that would just be rude.
All right. Anyways, NFC West. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks for this one.
Ooh.
That's right. Zoom in on the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson, I believe, is the top 5 quarterback for sure in the NFL. He deserved to get paid a lot of money. I don't know if he deserved to get that much money. He's not that, or I mean, he's pretty close to the top, but I don't think he deserves the top. But either way, Russell Wilson's still very good. They have a lot of depth at the running back position. Rashad Penny, the running back they drafted last year, wasn't even utilized last year. They obviously think highly of him, and then hopefully they can utilize him more, and he could have more production. Wide receiver wise, it's not amazing, but they also did get DK Metcalf in the second round of the draft, which is very surprising. I think DK Metcalf was a first round prospect. I'm very shocked that he went in the second round. Almost didn't even go in the second round too. He went at the end of the second round. Good pickup there by the Seahawks. Defense wise, they're not the Legion of Boom anymore. That's for sure. They lost a bunch of their Legion of Boom players to different teams now spread across the league. But they still have solid players on defense. They lost Frank Clark as well. Who did they get from the Frank Clark? Do you remember?
Yeah, they got a pick.
They got a pick, and then did they get a player? Oh, what do you want to check that? I don't know.
I can't remember.
They got a pretty decent haul though, and they did get the Chiefs' first-round pick in the 2019 draft.
Yes.
That I know for
Yeah,
sure. And they used that to take LJ Collier out of TCU.
The LJ Collier also I was going to talk about in a second. I do think that was a pretty solid pick for the end of the first round. Could be not many people had him as a first-round prospect. Could be a sleeper first-round prospect. I think. Wouldn't be surprised if he had a Frank Clark-like year next year. Not amazing, but yeah, that sometimes happens when you go on NFL.com.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, so Seattle Seahawks, my pick for the NFC West.
So that trade was in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, a 2020 second-round pick, and swap of third-round picks in 2019.
So it was just picks. All right.
All right, I disagree with Tyler. A lot of controversy here in the NFC. The LA Rams, the defending NFC champions, will win the NFC West again. You know, the Rams are a team that I'm pretty high on. I think they'll be able to make the playoffs again and contend. You know, you look at Jared Goff and Sean McVay. They very well could be the next Brady Belichick, I think. I think that Sean McVay is going to be a great coach. I think Jared Goff can be a great quarterback. I know people are very concerned about Todd Gurley's knee injury. I don't know why I touched my knee when I said that. That was weird. That was really weird. But anywho, my knees are fine. But, well, they deserve to know. But they did draft Darrell Henderson out of Memphis.
That was a great pick.
That was a great pick, so that could kind of take some pressure off of Gurley and maybe split the load in the early weeks of the season if he's not 100%. Cooper Kupp is looking like he's going to be healthy. Then you got the speedster Brandon Cooks, their number one receiver, and then you got Robert Woods, who actually quietly had a good year last year, over 1,200 yards, I believe. I got to double check that, but really good receiving core. Solid offensive line, although it's aging. They did draft a couple offensive linemen. I really like their offense. And then the defense, Aaron Donald. They re-signed Dante Fowler. Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the game. No offense to Khalil Mack,
I
but
agree with
I'm sorry.
you.
You agree with me? Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
All right, so we all agree Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in the game. I really like their first pick in the draft. They traded out of the first round, but still had a pretty decent draft class. I like the Taylor Rapp pick, and I like the additions of Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle in free agency. This team is stacked and should be in contention again in January.
And just for the fact check on Robert Woods, he got 1,219 yards this
Right.
season. So, good stats for you right on that one.
Yeah.
For my pick, though, I'm not going to take the Rams. I'm actually going to go with what Tyler said. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm a lone wolf on this one. I did not expect this. Wow.
Yes, and do not worry, Rams fans. I think that the Rams are going to be a good team. I just think the Seahawks are going to step it up. The Rams, I think, going to make the playoffs, but we'll talk about that at a different time, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. But the Seahawks, I believe, are going to win that division. Once again, everything I want to say was covered because I'm talking last year every time. But Russell Wilson is a great quarterback.
We'll start with you for the AFC.
Yeah, sure. And of course, they went a lot more to the running game last year. That helped them a lot, helped them win a lot more games. That defense, what he said about Legion Boom, that's correct. But they're slowly coming back. I think they're going to have a decent defense this year. And I think the Seahawks are just going to have the will to win some games. They're going to get a lot of close games. They're going to win those games. So I believe in the Seahawks team. I like the Seahawks team. And I have the Seahawks winning this division.
All right, so that is our NFC division winners prediction. Like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, a big video there. We just put ourselves on the line with that.
I love predictions.
So we'll see. We'll come back to it at the end of the NFL season. We'll see if we were right, see if we weren't.
Probably not.
But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. We're going to do the AFC one. That'll probably be the next video you guys see.
It will be.
And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below whatever you want to comment. Just
Comment your picks.
Just how good my predictions are.
Yeah, comment your picks. I like what Jordan said, not what Ryan said. because
All right.
my
Yeah.
picks- some
We
of
want to
Ryan's
hear what you
picks
think. We want to
are
hear what
wrong.
you think.
But yeah, obviously, it's hard to get division winners right. If I showed you my division winners last year, it's pretty disappointing. Anyways,
It really is. It was awful.
yeah, like I said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See ya.